Hey guys, I just have to say it. I really do love JD Vance. I mean, every time you hear the guy speak, he grows more and more on you. Um, this morning he addressed the Catholic prayer breakfast, where LifeSite was pleased to sponsor just a wee bit. We'll be there next year for sure. But JD Vance's remarks really endear him to your heart. One thing to note, though, uh, he said about himself that he's a baby Catholic. Watch.
One of the things that I try to remind myself of as a convert is that there's a lot I don't know. When I was a kid, we used to call new converts to the faith baby Christians. And I recognize very much that I am a baby Catholic, that there are things about the faith that I don't know. And so I try to be humble as best I can when I talk about the faith in publicly, because of course, I'm not always going to get it right. And I don't want my inadequacies in describing our faith to fall back on the faith itself. And so if you ever hear me pontificating about the Catholic faith, please recognize it comes from a place of deep belief, but it also comes from a place of not always knowing everything all the time.
Now that totally explains so much about JD Vance because we were concerned with his IVF stuff and is that doesn't he know that's against the faith and so on and so forth. Well, he describes himself as a baby Catholic, recognizes that, but he also said something really beautiful, not only about his Catholicism, but also about his general approach to running the country and wanting to hear from people of faith. Listen.
And I think that it's important, and I'll make this commitment to you in front of God and in front of all those television cameras back there, that we will always listen to people of faith and people of conscience in the United States of America. You have an open door to the Trump administration, even and especially maybe when you disagree with us. So please use that opportunity, communicate with us when we get things right, but also when we get things wrong. And that is my solemn obligation, but also my request.
So he says it's not only a promise, he says it's an invitation. So let's take him up on that right now. Because in the same speech to the Catholic prayer breakfast, he said something that really is very questionable. Listen to this.
As many of you know, I am part of an interfaith marriage. My wife, though she comes to church with us almost every single Sunday, she is not Catholic herself. And so the bargain that we have struck is that we will raise our kids Catholic, but we will let them choose the moment that they want to ultimately become baptized. And if that's terrible sacrilege, blame the Dominicans because they're the ones who came up with this scheme.
Okay, so he said to blame the Dominicans. Well, I will blame them. That's speaking as someone who myself is entered a marriage, which was with someone who was at the time Protestant. My wife and I too agreed to raise the children Catholic. In fact, my spiritual director at the time made her swear on the Holy Catholic Bible, well, actually on the Bible she accepted as the true Bible, to raise the children Catholic. And that actually played a big part because she too came to the same idea that Vance just mentioned about letting the children decide when they want to get baptized. I didn't know that was a thing. Anyway, I reminded her at the time that she'd sworn on the Bible to allow this to happen, so the children were baptized. The whole reason why baptism is so important, especially for infants, is that it gives you sanctifying grace. It puts you on the path. It makes you a child of God. There's no delaying that. So please, I hope no Catholics take that up from Vance to delay their baptism until the child chooses for themselves. It's a wonderful thing this child was baptized, but it's not the right way. In addition, he said something else, far less controversial, but controversial nonetheless. Listen.
I also know that I believe that the Pope is fundamentally a person who cares about the flock of Christians under his leadership. And he's the man who cares about the spiritual direction of the faith.
And that's a really hard call. What does Pope Francis mean to happen in the church? Does he mean well? We all hope so. But if he does mean well, that would mean he's following a faith that's not Catholic. It's not the one that has been handed down for 2,000 years. It's a different take on things that might be well-meaning. It might be where he's coming from. And that's all for himself to deal with. And that's why we've been praying so much for his conversion, his spiritual health, as well as his physical health. But it's also where Vance and calling that out that way, saying that he's the best, he means the best, and so on. it might also lead to confusion. So it is something that would be said by perhaps what you call a baby Catholic, but it's one that is so endearing. And I think it comes from a spirit of real love and newness to faith, recognizes that and has asked us, his fellow Catholics, but also especially the Americans, to get to him, to communicate to him, especially when you disagree. God bless you, Vice President Vance. Thank you for your faith, and thank you for your beautiful address at the National Catholic Prayer Breakfast, where I hope to see you again next year.
Hi everyone, this is John Henry Weston for LifeSite News. We hope you found this video insightful. For more content like this, be sure to check out the links in the description below. You can also follow us on social media to stay updated on the latest news concerning life, faith, family, and freedom. Thanks for watching, and may God bless you.